Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here with Mark Conroy, who's Managing Director Americas for Silver Sea Cruises. We're aboard the Silver Shadow. And why are we here? Because the Silver Shadow recently underwent a major renovation and has had a lot of different features. In fact, we're in one right now. We're going to talk about all that and more and get a little tour of all the new stuff on Silver Shadow with Mark. And this is Insider Travel Report. Now, Mark, here we are again.
Yes, having a great day at sea.
A great day at sea on Silver Shadow. And first, tell us about when the ship first launched.
The ship was launched in 2001, actually. So, and it was a kind of a ship of its time. We went from being 296 guests to 388. But it's a good-sized ship. She's over 30,000 tons, so she's very, very most spacious ship in the fleet, actually. Right. And it has a lot of great features. But as time went on, you could tell that, as time went on, we were owned by a 65-year-old Italian gentleman because there was a lot of brass and reds and dark colors. And, of course, the palette change with the Muse being so successful, we basically changed the entire palette of the ship to have that quieter, calmer, kind of a grayish tone. And people
even on the outside, there's a little bit of gray.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be silver, but if it was too silver, people couldn't see us coming. So, but no, we changed that, and people are really enjoying it. Plus, from the new ships, every time we build a ship, we make some really good things work and we make mistakes. And what's really happened was this ship, we took the good things I think that we've done with the Spirit and the Muse and added them to this ship, for like this room, for instance.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this room. This is, in back of us, we're the Arts Cafe. It's kind of a combination reception, lounge. You get shore excursion desk. It's sort of kind of what's a coron now in the industry, right?
Well, exactly. And what happens, we kind of call it an upscale version of our version of Starbucks, because you can get a coffee almost 24 hours a day, or you can get a drink if you like to, and there's always snacks, breakfast, lunch, and dinner in between then too. So. And
then this is where the shops are too, right?
Yeah, exactly. But what happened before, it was a typical old reception area, circular with fixed offices, and we opened this whole place up and created what it is today. So it's added a really nice open space for us.
No, it's a gorgeous place to hang out, especially during the day, and even in the evenings. It's kind of a gathering place, really.
No, it really is, and it's interesting because the way people, communicate around the ship, it gives them just one more place because there's beautiful windows and like I said, a lot bright light, and the gift shops are here too, so that doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt at all. Now, the next setup, we're going to go take a look at some of the suites on board Silver Shadow. Mark and I have moved to a suite, actually Suite 701. And what kind of suite is this, Mark?
This is a royal suite, actually.
A royal suite. Yeah, I think both you and I are in something, right?
Yeah, we're actually in the grand. We didn't quite make the cut to get the royal.
So. This is the first time I've actually fully sailed on Silver Sea, so I figured I might as well go big.
Good way to start, actually. It's an amazing amount of living space and great views. And, of course, we have a butler in every suite, including the very large one. So.
Well, talk a little bit about the features of this suite. You said it is a very large living room area, right?
Yes, and it's got a very beautiful bedroom that's about the same size as this, and a walk-in closet, and a beautiful bathroom with a jacuzzi tub and big shower, and then a second bathroom in the hallway for half baths if you have a party for guests. Yeah.
Or if you don't want to bother your partner, and it's a good way. You got a way to respite. But it's really you have two televisions. Really, it's and actually a good selection of movies.
Yeah, and that's the great thing that we have our on-demand TVs finally starting to catch up with technology. Even though it's still a little bit tricky, but we have movies. We have sports channels. We have entertainment channels. We have all the news channels. Particularly this time of year, we have both Fox and MSNBC and CNN. So just to keep everybody unhappy or happy, depending on what they want. So the other thing about this suite is actually it's connected to the suite next door in the hallway, so you can actually close the outer door and have a combined suite. So we get a lot of families that take this. Multi-generational travels is kind of what's really been hot with us these days. So
you are getting families coming on board and using suites like this, right?
Yes, particularly the holiday cruises, and then of course during the summer. So it's typically like grandpa and grandma, and then the adult children, and then the grandchildren. So
now, did you refurbish all the suites on board?
Every suite on the ship has been changed. Again, we lightened it up. We changed all the furniture. It originally had wooden countertops, and we've replaced that with marble because they're a lot more wearable. Just almost everything. We took the ship down basically to the walls and started over, including changing the fresh water system. the pipes were 19 years old, and you get rust in them and things. So they replaced all the risers in the circulatory system so that the water comes out crystal clear, and it's really working well.
Anything else you want to say about the suites?
No, I think they're the most spacious in the industry. The smallest one is about 350 square feet, including the balcony, and there's a suite for everyone. Again, we have a few vistas, which are the same size suite as our standard suite, but they've got a window instead of a balcony. But they are one of the strengths. The great strengths of this company is, first of all, it's the people that we have on board our ships. They are just amazing. You're on for a day and they remember your name. They go out of their way to do things special in your suite. They recommend things. They remember what wine you drink, what drink you have. And they're really our secret weapon. And then now we're giving them the quality of not only the existing fleet, bringing it up to where it should be and always needs to be, but also building some amazing new ships.
And I have to say, our butler that we have we've tested him, and he's come through with flying colors. He really is a lovely guy, and anything we wanted, he was there. I mean, to be honest with you, sometimes you don't know, what do I do with a butler?
Yes, just almost anything that's legal, we used to joke. But no, I'm going to miss him when I get home and my clothes aren't packed and my shoes aren't shined,
Well, Marilyn doesn't do that for you?
No, not at all. No, not at all. So
you don't do that for her either?
No, exactly. But no, the ship is... what's happened is I think one of our cruise directors, Fernando, who's also our Venetian Society ambassador, talks about is the fact that this is almost like a club that travels. So you've got a lot of, interesting, well-off, like-minded people. Not totally like-minded because they're from the East Coast, the West Coast, the North and South. There's Republicans and Democrats. But at the end of the day, it's almost like a club that travels. And that's one of the beauties of an all-inclusive product. Where else can you go and buy somebody a drink and not have to argue about who's going to pick up the tab?
No, it's wonderful. Now we're going to something really important, the dining areas, and we're going to look at some of the new things there, and that's next on the agenda. We're here in La Dame Restaurant. And Mark, tell us a little bit about this restaurant, because you do have these on other ships, right?
Yeah, it's now on every ship in the fleet, or actually they'll be converting. We had a long-term relationship with Relais and Chateau, and as they grew and expanded, it became a little bit less relevant, so we were looking for a new partner. And what's more elegant than the Leek? So we made a partnership with the Leek, and we originally decided it was going to be about decoration. But then as we got to know them, we learned that they have a chateau, own 3 different wine chateaus, plus they own a beautiful hotel and 2 3-star Michelin restaurants. So what we've done is kind of done a combined effort between ourselves and the Leek. And this wine not only features amazing food that they help us design, but also their amazing wines. And of course, the decor itself.
Yeah, well, in here we have this Leek crystal right in back of it.
And it's La Dame, so it's kind of perfect.
It's critical. Now, this is the signature restaurant on board. Tell us a little bit about, and this is the one you have revised. This as part of their whole overall refurbishment of Silver Shadow, right?
Yeah, and this will happen on all flights. We really, it's going to, on Moon, it'll be even more amazing because it'll be both indoor and outdoor, which is great. But what happened with this restaurant was it was okay because it had about 30 seats in it. But we have 380 people aboard, so unless the cruise was longer than 10 days, not everybody had a chance to dine here. So now we've expanded it to over 40 seats, so everybody can dine at least once during the cruise. And it's one of those meals. It's a very formal French meal. It takes some time. It's not you don't get it over in an hour, but it's an amazing series of tastes. You can either order a digestion menu or you can order a la carte throughout the menu, and it's just a beautiful meal. Kind of funny, we have people talk to us and they want to book it every night, and I kind of kid them. I said, no, if you book it every night, we'll have to roll you off as cargo because it's not a low-fat diet by any means.
No, in fact,
amazing Dover sole, so you can eat that too. So
yeah, well, it is very rich. We had it the first night, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. We had a nice meal with you actually on the very first night of the cruise, and I think we might be in on the next to last night. We'll see what happens, but it is a unique thing. But then you have a whole lot of other dining venues that are maybe familiar to some Silver Sea guests, right?
Yeah, on our smaller ships, we have this restaurant. We have the main dining room, and then we have something called the grill, which is really hot rocks where you cook your own meal on lava stones. And then we have on every ship in the fleet an Italian restaurant, our Italian heritage, La Terrazza, and then of course 24-hour room service.
And then of course the restaurant itself, which is your main restaurant.
Exactly. And then on the larger ships we have Spanakopita, which is a Neapolitan pizza parlor with amazing, it's an amazing place. Actually, it's kind of fun. We had one of Manfredi's birthdays, and when we first launched the ship, and I felt like I was 8 years old because we had pizza and ice cream,
Well,
and rosé wine, by the way.
Well, it sounds pretty good to me. I don't know. We should try to get one of those on this ship as well. But it'll be fun to see. Now, this has, so there are basically 4 main dining venues here. Is that?
That's correct. That's correct. Plus the room service, and then on the New Moon, we're trying something new called Salt, which is sea and land taste. And what we're going to do is, in one of the restaurants, feature local cuisine from all the different destinations we visit. So, like if we're in Greek islands, it'll become a Greek restaurant. When we're in South America, we'll have feature Argentinian and Chilean recipes and Peruvian recipes. So it's a major undertaking because the logistics of it are tough. But people are very excited because for years people have said, "Listen, we're in the Greek islands and there's no Greek food aboard. What are you doing?" So.
Well, I think that sounds like a wonderful. I know my partner Alan Fine has tried it out at Salt to see what it's like, and we look forward to seeing it when Moon comes out.
It's gonna be a great concept. And by the way, you can do as little immersion as dining in the dining room that features those items, or you can take a shore excursion where you go to the market with the chef. And then there's also a Salt Lab where you'll actually see local food experts come and explain why they pick certain herbs for taste and how they prepare dishes. So it's not a cooking school, but it's a lab.
Well, there it goes. That's dining here on Silver Shadow, and actually dining throughout the fleet. And so La Dame with Lalique, a great experience that is on this ship and all the others in the fleet. So here we are aboard Silver Shadow, and this is the last segment we're going to do on this wonderful refurbished ship. Mark, what have you done to the physical plant of the ship to make it different? We talked about dining, we talked about suites, we talked about certain lounge areas, but in terms of the mechanics of the ship?
Well, we've done basically a major overhaul. We spent almost $30 million on the ship in a fairly short period, but all the risers, the ship's water system's constantly circulating, and the day the ship was built, it had steel pipes, and we've replaced them all with high pressure non-steel pipes, and to improve the water quality, we've painted all the tanks, just all the normal things that you do in a regular dry dock, plus like renewals of things that over time, sometimes even things like windows that have to be replaced because of the fact that they, over a certain period of time, they have some corrosion on them and those sorts of things. And of course, we painted the hull silver, kind of a silver gray. So
yeah, well, you got to do everything, this kind of maintenance all the time, but to do that in conjunction with all the other things you're doing. Now, where is this ship going to be sailing in the next year?
Well, what she'll do now is she's going to do a Christmas and New Year's cruise, and then she does a 65-day around South America cruise, and then goes back to Europe, and we'll spend the entire summer in the Mediterranean, and then we'll come back and go through the Suez and go out to Asia probably. We haven't kind of finalized all those details yet, but so what happens is we'll have, we like to be in the Med between April and November. We like to be in Europe between April and November, and then we typically send some ships go east through the Suez Canal down to South Africa, some instead all the way over. We have the Muse. She goes from Alaska in the summertime down to Australia, doing Australia New Zealand cruises during the our winter, our fall winter, their summer, and then we have another ship that goes to Africa, and one that goes all the way up in Vietnam in that area. So, and of course we've got our expedition ships. They go from really pole to pole. The Cloud will actually. At the end of the season this year, the Cloud and the Explorer, one will do a northeast passage and one will do a northwest passage. One will be crossing over Russia and one will be crossing over Canada, and those
are at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time, so then they'll begin their season. At the end of that season, then they'll start heading south, and both be in Antarctica, and then we'll come back north again. The Cloud goes via Africa, west coast of Africa, and the other ship goes up through Asia. So it'll be an interesting deployment, and of course we've got the ship in the Galapagos that's year round, and of course the Silver Origin. We're taking delivery or sometime in May, and she'll probably go into service in July. So
it's hard to keep track of all these ships because they're going all over the place between the expedition ships and some that have been converted to expedition ships. How many ships are now in the fleet total?
We have currently 8 operating with 2 under construction, right. And then we have 2 more coming, and then 2 more, so 4 more. So we have a total of 5 ships coming in between now and 2023. We'll basically double our capacity.
That's pretty amazing, and of course, then you got you as travel agents, you have to try to fill them. That's great.
Well, that's the great thing. We're a small company, but we carried close to 90,000 guests this year, and we had about 500,000 passenger nights. We run at about a 90-some% occupancy. So that means if you just do the math, we're going to have to come up with about 1 million passenger nights in the next couple of years in order to make sure the ship's successful, which means a lot of great things for our agent partners. It means more commission, more diversity to sell, more opportunities to get those customers to come back and time and again, and also more promotional opportunities.
Well, Mark, anything else you want to talk about this ship or what's going on at Silversea?
You know, as I always say, the secret sauce of Silversea's, you know, we've got great technology, we've got beautifully designed ships, but really makes Silversea is our crew. I just really wish that we could run the shoreside marketing and sales portion of it as half as well as the people on the ship do, and we're working on it. That's our goal, to make it sure that our travel agent partners, when they deal with us, there's as little friction as possible in the transactions. And I think we're getting there, but as we joked today, James, this is our 25th anniversary, and before that we were practicing, and now we got it for sure. So
well, practice makes perfect, and of course now you got big backing from your Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited, who are now helping to make, you know, really upgrade everything, and also make your delivery schedule on ships just accelerate dramatically. Right?
Well, you know, they have such a big presence in the new building world. They can get things done that we as a small company couldn't get things done. And they saw the opportunity. As if you think about it, you know, Royal is the largest single cruise brand. Celebrity is an amazing premium brand. Maybe some people say luxury, but it's an upper brand anyway. And then you have Azamara, which is kind of the boutique hotel at sea. And the one thing that Royal was missing was a luxury brand, and now we have it. So a customer can spend their whole life in our ecosystem, starting maybe at one of the other brands and heading to us, or starting with us in Expedition and heading in the other direction. So actually, interesting story, our biggest overlap database-wise is between Royal and ourselves. And we think it's because when they travel as a couple, people travel with us, and when they take their extended family, you know, Royal's the master of extended family travel. So it works.
Absolutely.
It's a great marriage, I have to tell you. I've never been happier.
Well, Mark, it's been great cruising with you here on this ship for the past 10 days, and we're heading out. We're heading back to Fort Lauderdale now. Sorry it's going to be over soon.
And the only thing I'm disappointed is, Jim, we're standing here on the bridge, and the captain will not let either one of us drive.
Well, I don't know. It's very tempting here. It's like right down here, but we'll try to keep our hands off this. But Mark, again, great to see you, and thanks for hosting a wonderful cruise.
Thank you, and thank you for all you do for the industry.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.